G'day everybody, it's Seano here and we're back for another live stream. It's our round 8 chat and your team review live stream that we do every Thursday. If you're joining us here and you haven't before, or even if you have joined us before and you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and do that for me now. Before we go on, just click that button. There should be a little button down the bottom there that you can click. Go ahead and click that. That would be awesome. Also, like the video, that helps me out a lot. And if you're watching this in the future, leave me a comment and let me know how your season's going and what you're doing. Now, don't forget, if you want to pop your team in my Discord in the channel that says post my team here, we'll pop it up on the screen and have a look at it today. So, yep, the link is in the chat, right pinned to the top for the Discord. So if you want to do that, we can do that. And we can also probably have a look through the leagues, but it's a little bit easier through the Discord. So prefer the Discord, but if you have to do it through the leagues, we'll do it that way as well. All right, so let's get rid of this. Who we got here? It's a hi from me. Hey, Muzz, how are you? Nice to see you, Muzz. Muzz says he brought in Rashenko, Zach Bailey this week. Not bad, not bad. As for me, for what I'm doing with my team, we don't have a lot of other people's teams in there. So if you are watching live and you want to get your team into that Discord, or let me know the name in chat, we don't have a lot of teams here so far. So we'll go on a little bit about my team, the dumpster fire that is known as Seano's YT team. These are my trades potentially this week, Muzz and viewers. Jackson, Horne-Francis, and Rechenko, out. Farrow, McAndrew, and Lombard out. Now, I have been wondering whether I do either pretty much the Horne-Francis and the Rechenko are locked. They're happening. Jackson, Whitfield. I've been looking at Whitfield. I've been looking at Jackson. They both have about 100 break even. Who do I want in the team? The problem with Jackson for me is I have a really rough buy. That buy, which, because I've got the two Collingwood boys in my back line, I believe it's here, it's round 14. So if I get Jackson, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players out for that buy. So, and that's one that a lot of other people aren't that heavy on. So that's going to be a rough round. The only thing I'm thinking there's maybe Houston's still in the team at that time. Maybe he's not. I don't really want more than 5 people on that buy out. But my only other options are, you get Whitfield, which I probably will get Whitfield or Ash either next week or the week after anyway. But if I want a ruck, that would mean that I pretty much have to be waiting until the buys. Like, I like the look of Sherry, but he costs another 60k more. And I just figured that will hurt my upgrade ability too much if I get Sherry. So there is also English that will come down. He's potentially going to be around 550k after he comes back after a couple of weeks. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't want to block up my flex position with a ruck either before the buys. At the end of the buys, that's fine. But right now, getting through the buys, you're going to need this flex position to be, well, flexible, as they say. And so, yeah, I'm thinking that Jackson, even with this buy, and even now, since I'm concentrating on leagues a little bit more, as you've all seen my disastrous overall ranking of like 60k, I don't mind kind of tanking one round. As long as I get 18 players on the field, I'll be happy. And then hopefully I can win some of the other rounds. Now, I have been checking my opponents to make sure they don't have too many, if I don't have too many more primos off than they do in those buy rounds. And I seem pretty close to most of them. So I feel like this is the only round where I'm probably almost definitely going to take a defeat. But, you know, that's what happens in the buys. All types of crazy stuff happens. Are you happy with Zach Bailey? I think he's pretty good, Muzz. But at the same time, it's going to be a little bit up and down. But I think, as we had a big discussion about the forwards, and now if you want to go back and listen to that discussion, we had it in both the trades video and the my round review video of who I think are the best forwards, and we can have a bit of a talk about it today. I would think if you could afford to get Horn Francis instead of Zach Bailey, I'd probably go there if he suits your buy structure. My round 12 buy is not bad. Hi, Karen. Disaster week. Started on fire but sizzled out. I think that happened for a lot of people, Karen. Yep. Clark came in and went poorly. Yeah, me too. I did the exact same thing. I got Clark in. He got 40 points in the first quarter. Then he got 2 in the second. And then didn't seem to do much after that. You've traded Holmes out. Bont back in, maybe. Or Holmes is... I wouldn't trade out Holmes, Karen. There's a good chance he'll get... Well, there's a chance, not a good chance, but there is a chance if he keeps his current role that he'll get defender status and he'll be probably the number 1 defender maybe. So I definitely wouldn't be trading out Holmes. And Bont, just if you save some money, I think you'll get Bont. You can get Bont this week, but he's also might be a little bit cheaper next week. So I don't think I'd be getting rid of Holmes. Holmes could be one of the most valuable players if he has a DPP for the back line in 4 weeks or so time. So you definitely want Bont, but you might just have to wait a week or 2 to get him. I don't think he's going to go up or down that much. I mean, he might go down a little bit. He's got 160 break even. So let's say he has a great game, which is like he has 130. That's only 15K that he'll go down 15K. So he'll be below 600. And then the week after that, his break even will probably be around 120. So he'll probably stay around that. Unless he comes out and actually gets this 160. And even then, he's not going to go up very much. Even next week, his break even is not going to be too bad. So I think you've got a couple of weeks to try and wingle the Bont into your team. I definitely wouldn't be getting rid of Holmes. 22 boost. Yeah, I've got 22 and 1 boost as well, Karen. I know it's been a rough season. I'd really like more. And this means my team value is also quite down. I was watching another content creator and his team value is like 12.8 million. And I'm not even at 12. So he's basically got more than a 1 full Primo's worth. Like he's got a Tristan Sherry extra on his team. And I believe he does have Tristan Sherry on his team. So... And most of the top, 10 teams in the league have about a 12.5. So they're pretty much 1 Primo ahead of me, which means that I'm going to struggle to get a full Primo team, I think. And I'm going to have a few, I would have liked to get Sherry this week. He's going to have a very big score against Geelong, I would assume. But just for the money-wise, I think I have to get Jackson. And with the fact that Sean Darcy is 4 to 5 weeks away, I believe they said. I believe the next few weeks could be good scores for him. Because even with Mason Cox, I hope Mason Cox is doing well for you, Karen. I think they're more inclined to play Mason Cox a little bit more forward because he can kick a goal and clunk a mark. So I'm pretty sure Jackson is going to be the man. And I'm hoping this week, if Gawn is feeling a little bit better and the game's a little bit closer, he'll get a little bit more time in the ruck than Max Heath as well. Last week, he obviously got that knee by Bolter in the side fairly early in the game, and then they kind of rested him near the end of the game when the game was over. So I'm hoping Gawn's going to get a little bit bigger this week, and I'm hoping Jackson's going to continue how he's doing. Hence has a high break even. I still don't think you have the trades to do it, Karen. At this time, once you've got the premiums in, you don't normally trade them out. Like you want to make your money by trading your money making rookies down to basement price rookies. You're not going to have enough trades to continue to do things like that really, and you especially with Holmes being like, even if Bont had a break even of 260 like he did last week, I still didn't trade him out. And I wouldn't be doing that with Holmes either. I just think just take the money hit and know that you have one of the best players potentially in 2 positions in your team. I'm sure Holmes will come back and start smacking out some big scores sooner than later. Hey, Michael, how you going? Beat your capture option. Best capture option. Gawn, Grundy, Butters, Bont, Jackson, Sheasel, Petrarca, Pickett. can you use Blamiers as a loop? If he's not named, you probably can. When do they play? They play on Saturday afternoon. So, yep, the captain choices are a bit tricky this week. Hey, Tiger Matty, how are you going? Um, we can have a look if you let me know your team again, buddy. I know you have before, but we can always have a look again. Yeah, captain choice is a bit tricky this week because of the stupid fixturing of the old AFL. So Bont and Butters are on the same night, as well as Jackson. If you've got him in your team, they're all on the same night. So I know Dacos has a pretty bad record against Hawthorn, but I'm kind of forced where I think he's still probably my best choice for vice captain. So I'm vice captaining Dacos into Bont, even though he doesn't have a great record, and that's a rough game. I also, if English doesn't play, I might even go Jackson over Bont, just because I think the domination that Jackson could hand out to a newbie ruck could be a big. It could be a more than a 147. It could be a big score, and Bont. I would expect Bont to get around this 130. Bont has gone very well. I don't read too much into these. I know a lot of content creators are all over this, but this is what's happened in the past at Marvel, and this game is also at Marvel, I believe. 144 and 162 in the last 2 years, but that's still no true indication of what he will do this week. I prefer to know the ruck matchup. I think it's a safer way to go, just to know that Jackson will be up against potentially a rookie ruck who Grundy smacked out a 150 on last week. So I'd assume that he crushes him again this week. I think they're both good options, but I think that for me, I might, if there's a new ruck, I'll probably go Jackson. If there's the English's rucking, I'll probably go Bont. That's the way I'll look at it. And that's if Jackson's even in my team. I'm still seriously considering bringing in Whitfield instead and keeping McAndrew for a few more weeks as a potential. McAndrew could still get some decent scores and score. Probably not going to go up too much more money, but he could still score well on field. Maybe it's better than some of these other guys like Grill. Butters in the showdown, yep, but they're both on Friday. So Butters or Bont, basically. That's, like I said, you've got all the ones you really want in my team. If I could go like Bont into Butters, yeah, great, but I can't. So for me, it's got to be either Dacos into Butters or Dacos into Bont or Dacos into Jackson. I did have someone suggest in the old Discord that maybe Petrarca, but I think with all the midfielders back in the Gold Coast midfield, I'd be a little bit worried that his ceiling is capped now. I don't think he'll be scoring the 180s like he did when Rao wasn't in the team. So I think I'd prefer to make, if one of these guys failed, I didn't want to pretend on Petrarca who could potentially get 100, where I think Jackson and Bont and even Butters are potentially 120 plus guys. But I think if you don't have the Bont and you didn't have Jackson, Butters is definitely an option. And then for other people, obviously, if you've got if you've got Bailey Smith, you go him for sure. Even Nas could be a sneaky one. And then after that, I don't know who else I would really be thinking. I wouldn't be going the Sheasel against Geelong. Might get the Mullen tag. Gawn and Grundy could equal each other out. How did Gawn go last time against Grundy? 153 points he got against Grundy last year. Or maybe Grundy wasn't playing in that game. Maybe Grundy wasn't playing. What, round 11? Should we check that? Round 11, 2025, was Grundy playing? round 11, 2025. Let's have a look, crew. Yeah, he played. He played versus Melbourne. So, well, hopefully Gawn will do that again. Don't know if he will, but hopefully he will for my team. Tiger Matty says, tough year for you, mate. Yeah, you and me both, buddy. Don't think you're around your 200 ranked like last year. No, carnage through trades. 2-3-3-2 this week. That's a good score, mate. About ranked 19th this week, about 19,000 ranked. So jumped 12,000 spots, but still very shaky. Yeah, I think it doesn't take much to jump quite a lot of spots. I'm hoping for one of those peak scores as well, buddy, where I can get the 2,300s and jump 15 or 20,000 spots and start heading towards maybe that top 10% where I would like to be. It's possible, but you've got to string a few of these. Like if you did that again this week, you'd probably jump right up there. You might even be, close to top 10,000. But unfortunately, if you're anything like me, if we look at my history, the scores, every time I think I get a decent score, it goes backwards. Like I still think it's laughable that after 18 trades, my highest score of the season was the very first round one. How is that even possible? But round one is my highest score. Then like the bye rounds, which were pretty disastrous, really. And then round 5, 21-33, but then down to 20-84. So they're both very bad. And then a 22, 22-26. So every time I jump a few spots up, I seem to be falling a few down. And my highest score being in round one, that should never happen after 18 trades. That just shouldn't be a thing that can happen, but it seems to be. That probably just means that I've traded really badly. I have had injuries, but I've also traded badly as well. Karen says she's tossing up between VC on Neil against Essendon into Heaney. Don't trust Grundy versus Gawn. No, like I said, honestly, I think Gawn could. Yeah, I don't know which way it's going to go, actually, that match. With the new rules and Grundy might be able to jump better. We know if it was a physical matchup, I'd put my money on Gawn, but could be interesting. Heaney, I think, is a good pick as long as he's named and he's healthy. I think that, and Neil into Essendon, I think that's probably a pretty reasonable pick too. Which one would I choose? I think they're both all right. I think maybe for sheer huge potential, maybe I'd pick Heaney just because you know that he can, if he gets a few goals and a lot of possessions, he can go massive. Long as you're confident that he's pretty healthy when he's come back from being pretty healthy. So yeah, that's the captains. I think are a bit tricky this week, especially if you've got a team like mine. If you've got Sherry, you pick Sherry. I was tempted to get Sherry, but he's 680. I just like I'll show you. We'll get out the nerd. We'll do the nerd thing like we usually do. Where is he? How loud was that? Did that wake anybody up who wasn't paying attention? So, so my plans for next week then. So, originally I had Smith traded out this week, but since by getting Jackson and you getting rid of McAndrew's got a little bit more money in his head, which allows me to keep Smith this week. So Smith or Grill, who should both be around 310k if they earn a little bit extra money next week. For potentially McKenna in the forward line, leaves me 200k. Now, there could also be that other Richmond rookie coming, but I wouldn't be coming early, which is the standard joke. Sorry about the joke, but had to be done. So I wouldn't be going on Sound coming early. Waiting to see if he smacks out another 180 next week, it might be 2 downgrades from me. And then I was thinking about this before I came on chat. I know this is the time of year you're supposed to be going 1 down, 1 up, but really that's for total score. And considering I'm going for leagues now, I think there might be a case for not trading in the next couple of weeks, not trading at all, just or even just like getting one down a rookie. I need to save some trades. I've never ever won my league championship or when I haven't had any trades. I've won it quite a few times, but I've always gone in with probably 4 trades in the finals. So that means coming out of the buys, I probably want 8 trades, which means I've only got 14 between now and the end of the buys to spend, and we're only at round 8. So that's in 8 rounds in 14. So I would need to not trade in at least one round, not at all, or only trade once in one round. So, yep. So I'm thinking if I need a little bit more, so that'll get me 533K. If I don't get Cumming and I just get McKenna, say Cumming comes, it gets dropped, or he gets like a 30, maybe I just get McKenna, and then I've got 533K in the bank, and my targets will be Finn Callahan, or maybe McCluggage, Lockie Ash. We won't be able to afford Merritt or Heaney, so it'll be one of these guys coming down in price, Callahan, McCluggage, or Ash. And I'm probably leaning towards, I think McCluggage can still come down some more money. There's talk that he's going to play that slight wing role and still lower time on ground until Berry comes back. And I looked it up. This was the chat. So that's still a few weeks away, 2 to 3 weeks away, I believe. Let me just check and make sure I'm not telling you lies. I don't like to lie to you, crew. While I'm doing this, why don't you like the video if you're watching the video? Injury list for Brisbane. So Jared Berry calf, 2 to 3 weeks. So in 2 to 3 weeks is where I'm thinking Berry comes back, Berry plays wing, McCluggage gets moved back into the middle. It's been a couple more weeks. Maybe his time on ground is up from the 65% he's playing now to about 75%. And then I think he'll be prime picking at about 450 to 500K. So maybe you get him a week early. If he's all I can afford next week, maybe I just get him early and ride, because those buys are also the buys I don't have many people on. So that's why I'm looking at those 3 gentlemen as well, because they are on either this round 13 buy or the round 15 buy. That's why I've got Merritt and Heaney there as well, and Grundy, I guess, as well. So these 2 buys, the 13 and the 15, are really the ones that I want to be getting primos in for the next few weeks. Because if we look at my buys, so in round 12, it's not too bad at the moment. We've got Butters, so that's 1, Sheasel, Petrarca, and Horn-Francis as primo, so that's 4. So we could really get 1 more from there, and that 1 more would be Sherry. It's one I really want. If he could come down some money, if I don't want to jinx any Sherry owners, but if he could just have a bad one this week against Geelong somehow, I don't know how that's possible. But, if he could get a 110 or a 115 and then, keep it under 150 for a week or 2, then maybe could get him at like 620 for coming after his bye. But I don't think that's very possible. I think he's going to smash a 150 plus again this week against Geelong and their no ruck setup. So, yeah. So I've only got 4 there. So maybe I could afford 1 more player from that bye before that bye. Then round 13, I've got none. No. So this is where Finn Callahan and a Lockie Ash or a Lockie Whitfield would help me out. And I've already checked the gentleman that I'm playing through the buys. He only has 1. He has Lockie Whitfield. So even though for my overall score, it's an advantage to get guys in from this buy, for my winning my league, maybe I only want 1 of those guys. And then, I'll suffer for my overall score, which is I mean, how's it going to get any worse than it already is? So that way that I've got a good chance of winning that league battle. So I'm concentrating a little bit like that on buys at the moment too. I'm going forward. I'm looking at my opponent. I'm seeing how many primos he's got out on a buy. I'm counting how many primos I've got out on a buy, and then don't want to go, over the amount he has. And so I already know that this buy here, I'm going to lose this buy. Unless my team it changes severely. He doesn't have Walsh. He doesn't have Dacos. He doesn't have Houston. So I think he has Jackson, and that's it. He might not have Clark either. So the person I'm playing on this buy has like Dacos and Jackson, and then I've got 3 more primos than them. Or 4 more. So I'm going to lose that buy round. So the theory is if I'm going to lose that one, you might as well tank it and try and win the other ones. That's the theory. As long as I get 18 players on the field, 1, 2, 3, hopefully maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 if you're lucky, a 12, a 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I've got 22 to choose from. Some of these rookies probably won't be playing. Other things will be happening. So I should be able to still field 18. Hey, Wayne Randalls, how you going? Nice to see you, mate. Chat says hello to you as well. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody out there is doing well. I'm doing very well this morning. Got to go back to work a little bit later on this afternoon. That's why we're doing it in the morning. And we'll go back to next week on Thursday. It will be after the game as well. I think you guys kind of seem to like the after the game way to go. So we can do it after the game. I think that's fine. And I kind of have fun when I do it after the game. So we get to talk about the game as well. Speaking of the game, should we have a look? What is the team sheets? Anything interesting in the team lineups? Obviously, we won't have tomorrow, Fridays yet, but Buller, Parker, Ned Long, Darcy Moore. Is he going to hurt my 2 backmen? Is he going to make my Dacos and Houston shit again? I didn't even like that Houston's not even named on the field, which doesn't give me a lot. So Scott Pendlebury, they gave him a break after getting his leather poisoning from last week. He probably needs a break after that many possessions. Wasn't he amazing last week? And the Hawks have got Sicily back from his suspension, Dylan Moore and Morrison and Jack Dalton out. So he is not a rookie option for us anymore. Yeah, Dan Houston's not even named on the field. Boo. Boo earns, Sean says. So I'm a little bit worried about that with Darcy Moore, back in the team. How much is that going to hurt me? How much did it hurt me, like kick-in wise last time? Kick-ins, Collingwood, Darcy Moore. He doesn't take many kick-ins, so that's good. So at least Dan Houston could have, a reasonable amount of kick-ins. Jeremy Howe is the one that steals the kick-ins off him. Didn't have many last week. That's interesting. He got that 100 scored. He didn't have many kick-ins. That's good to know. It's good. Hopefully he's turned a little bit. Hopefully both these boys can do a little bit better. But if we go back to the buys, round 15, I don't have anyone off this round 15. And that's why someone like a McCluggage is very interesting for me, even if he hasn't quite turned I think he'll be good later on in the year. I'm sure of that. It's just the question of when do you get him? And if I get him in at 450, can I live with a few weeks of 80 scores before he goes up? So I'm pretty sure that in the next couple of weeks I'll be getting McCluggage and Ash. And then the round 16 bye, it's a tough one for a lot of people. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can potentially afford to get one more guy off that bye too, which I would like it to be Holmes, but I don't know if I can afford Holmes. And like we talked about in the trades video, if Holmes gets DPP, for a midfield back. He's probably going to be a must-have. And if Merritt happens to get DPP for a midfield forward, he's almost going to be a must-have. Both of those things are not guaranteed, but both of those things make them a little bit more valuable, and I'll be prepared to pay up for them a little bit more. Instead of going the 550, I hopefully, I'm prepared to go to 580, 590 to get those guys if they get that DPP. Tiger Matty says, hi, Wayne. We all say hi, Wayne. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, crew. I probably regret getting Clark, not just because he got that 78 score, but also because of that buy round now. So I was a bit silly not to have a look at that buy round. So we're stuck with it now. We are stuck with it. Whether the roller coaster ride, we were just looking at the value train. Also, I got my eyes on a man that's not in that. When he comes back, I know it's when he comes back is a Mr. Zorko. Zorko's going to be cheap. Let's have a look at both Zorko and McCluggage and try and pick which rounds that we are going to want them for. So there are probably those two and one of the Greater Western Sydney guys, like either a Finn Callahan, a Whitfield, or a Ash over the next few weeks is my plan. Let's have a look. So Zorko, I think he's not quite due back. If we look at the injury list, Zorko, Carfy's a test, so he could be. Zorko is likely to return. All right, so he's likely to return. So that's good. He's got a break even of 150. He's at 500K now. And let's say he has a decent, let's say he just goes at 100 for the next few weeks. He'll be at 2 weeks' time, he'll be at 460K. Now, worst case scenario, say he goes at a 115. Let's say he goes at 115. He'll get down to 480. So I'm definitely interested in that in 2 weeks' time. And that will round out my defense with one rookie on the field. And if I happen to have picked up maybe a Lockie Ash next week, who should also be around 520, then my defense will probably be full. But I'd probably prefer to leave that one spot for maybe a Holmes. So maybe I go the McCluggage instead. Or maybe Houston just disappears. Maybe Houston just goes away if he has another few bad games. Yeah, Karen, I'm thinking, so yeah, Zorko I think is a decent target. We know, I mean, look how his scoring is. We know what he can do scoring-wise. He got a 131, 196, 111, and then this 36. So take that injury score out. That's amazing scoring, and you'll take that from a 450K player any day of the week. And the other one is the luggage. 498 with a 163 break even. Like I said, I think he's about 2 or 3 weeks away from being unleashed in that midfield. So let's say he just goes at 85s for the next couple of weeks. Barry said 2 to 3 weeks, so let's give him 85s until Barry comes back. He'll be about 4, so he's at 498. If he gets an 85 this week, he'll drop to about 460, and he'll probably hover around that 450 mark. So he could be one that I might just get next week and just be like, I know I'm going to have to cop an 80 for a couple of weeks, but knowing as well that I've got him in the team, and then at the back half of the season, maybe that's going to help me out, So next week, potentially him. And so one of those two, I think Zorko is probably 2 weeks away. I think McCluggage can be 1 or 2 weeks away. But this one, I think Ash, if I want Ash, I think he needs to be next week. He's at 146. If he gets a 105, I think is a reasonable for him. He'll go down to 520. But then if he gets a 110 the week after, he's going to stay about 520. And let's say one worst case scenario, he gets a 120 this week. He'll go down 10K to 530, and that's the cheapest you're going to get him. So I think if I want Ash, it has to be next week, where the two Brisbane boys can be the week after. Hey, mate, the great. I am all well, very well. Ash Whitfield. I feel Champion Data hates Ash. You're waiting on Ash too. I think Whitfield is going to be. I wanted Whitfield this week, and I'm still thinking the difference between Jackson and Whitfield. I'm basically is 60K. I get to save that 60K, but I kind of feel like I need a big boy ruck, and I kind of feel like the rucks are just being more consistent. And Whitfield, I think, will be more consistent than Ash because he has the majority of the kick-ins, so his floor will be higher. Ash could be a little bit more up and down, but we do know that they love to get the ball in the hands of Ash. So I'm thinking, Ash can still have his big 130, 140 scores, but Whitfield is probably going to be, your nice, consistent 115, and every once in a while, he could smack you a big score if they kick the ball around the back line a little bit and get lots of marks. But I think they're both very good. If I had my choice, if they were exactly the same price, I would pick Whitfield. But for me, because Ash is going to be potentially 40K cheaper and money is something that I don't have, I'm going to potentially pick Ash and just have to deal with not having Whitfield. Archie Roberts has to be in the mix, surely. He certainly is. The only thing I will say about Archie Roberts is I'm not too sure if the Sun run might be over. The other thing is he cost more. I did consider Archie Roberts as well because he has that really good buy. But if we look at the injury list, right? Look at the injury list. So let's go to Essendon. So Mason Redmond has recovered from a knee issue and will return in the VFL. So you assume that means not this week, but the week after he'll be back. And let's have a look at their kick-ins. So kick-ins for Essendon. So Mason Redmond, the first week he took 11 out of 10. Well, he took 11 and he played on with 10. And then he took 1 and then he hasn't been in the team. So since he hasn't been there, take out this round 3, Archie Roberts has been the main man for kick-ins. Does that get taken away when Redmond comes back? I'm not saying it will. Roberts has been really good, but does it take away some of his scoring when he comes back? Does the 140s go down to being 100s? I'm just saying that it's something to be aware of because look at this last week. Jackson Pryor came in and took 4 kick-ins. He wasn't in the team the week before. And his score went down to 100. So, he'd been getting massive scores. And then last week the score was a little bit down. So I'm thinking, I'm not too sure if the Sun run for Archie Roberts is over, but for me, it's scary enough not to pay $280 for him. I'll have a look at him for the next few weeks. I'll see what it looks like with Redmond in the team. I'll see if he continues in that role. We know that Brad Scott is a bloody absolute terrorist when it comes to Supercoach and positions. If you didn't see my rant in the round 1 video, in my round 8 review video, I'm going to leave a link to both the videos, but go back and watch that one. I had a really, really huge rant at Brad Scott because he destroyed not just 1, not just 2, not even 3, 4 of my rookies Brad Scott managed to screw over last week. I don't know how one coach can screw over 4 rookies in one game, but he managed to do it. So that's the only thing I'm a little bit worried about. It might not happen, but you can even see, like, even last week, there was one more person taking, so 4-4, 4-4, 2-1. So I guess it's kind of the same. The week before, he had Zach Merritt was taking kick-ins, and Zach Merritt didn't take any kick-ins last week. So maybe that's not the reason he got 100 last week. But I just want to see what Redmond's position is in the team before I commit for 580K for him. But if you've already got him, beautiful, beautiful. Houston out, Roberts in. Yeah, not until I get to see that. And it could be for me, Houston out, Whitfield in. I think Whitfield and Roberts will score similar by the end of the season, to be honest. Tracking well injury-wise. His efficiency is key. That's good to hear. Glad you had him from the get-go. Well on. He is a shit coach. I mean, let's do. I'm not going to go on a massive rant, but let's count out the rookies that Brad Scott destroyed for me last week. Farrow's out of my team now because he destroyed him. Took away the game plan, where Essendon actually wins and is competitive. Yeah, let's not play that game plan. Sounds like a smart move to me. Sardis and Sharp brought Sharp in. Said, hey, you Sardis and Sharp, you just share half a game each. You don't have to play a full game. Poor Sharp. I feel sorry for Sharp. Comes in. He brings him in for Anzac Day. Huge match. 90,000 people at the MCG. And then at the end of the match, he goes, oh, the kids were a bit, in awe of the day. And it's like, of course they bloody were. What are you thinking bringing in this kid on Anzac Day? You want experience. You don't bring in a kid and expose him to like 90,000 people, give him 50% time on ground and say, oh, he didn't play very well. Of course he didn't play very well. I mean, what do you expect? Sardis, you didn't even give him a go. Give the kid a go. And Farrow will give him a go too. And then obviously Thomas Edwards, key forward. Let's play him everywhere but in the forward line. Like the poor kid could have kicked like 2 goals. Imagine kicking like a goal, even 1 goal or 2 goals on Anzac Day as a key forward. You'd be so stoked. Even if your team was just competitive but lost, you'd be so happy. It'd be something you remember for a long time. But no, let's play him in the wing. Let's play him all over the place. Like 4 rookies in 1 game he destroyed. Unbelievable, Brad Scott. Unbelievable. Sardis rumoured to be out this week. That, Ricky, I would not doubt it. Luckily, he benched Sharp. Well, yeah, I couldn't play Sharp. Even when he's actually playing, he hasn't got decent time on ground yet, but he hasn't had a decent score yet. I'm actually looking. He might be one that we just have to unload because he's just not going to make us money. And if Brad Scott's not going to give the kid a chance, well, then you might just have to, unload him. I've had him from the beginning, and I'm kept on hoping he's going to come back and get a decent shot at it, but doesn't know if he is. What's the rumours? He is sabotaging my super coach. All my rookies. I feel sorry for the kids too. He didn't even give them a chance to even, to be competitive. It's like he stopped his team being competitive on Anzac Day. Tried a new game plan. Gave, one of his best. Like, why is Sardis being out? Why is that? What did you hear about that? Can we have a look? Does news on? Tracking for a new selection. So there's nothing in the old AI. Can't find anything. If anything, you have to drop Sharp, right? Sardis looks so good unless he's injured. I mean, if he's injured, fine. But, I mean, I really hope that's not correct, Ricky. I really hope that's not the case. What am I going to do if he gets dropped like he did last year and doesn't come back? That's such a wasted trade. I mean, he made us some money, but God, I mean, it would have been much better not to do it. He just has such potential to be a good scoring rookie on the field, doesn't he? Just such potential to be a good scoring rookie on the field, but no, we can't have that. Keeping Bruin for me, guys, I'll just be a little bit warned. See, if you're looking at this 90 break even, and you're thinking, oh, I have to sell him, don't be too worried because he does have a low score in his system that will drop out this week. He has this 56 that will drop out. So if he gets 80s and 87s next week, he's not going to drop, too much money. Potentially, if he could smack out 100, he might actually, and like a 90, he might actually go up a little bit more money. He could potentially go up another 20K. So if you don't have to sell Bruin, don't be too scared about that break even. I think a few players in our teams are like this. Like the break even for Jakes is the same. He's got a low score in his system. So this break even 52, all he needs to do is score another 65 this week. And again, he'll start to slowly tick up in cash again. And if you get your 75 or 80, he'll make you some more money. So they're not necessarily like sometimes when you see the break evens like getting high like this, you're like, I have to sell them. I don't think those two are ones that you definitely have to sell. I think there's a good chance that they could make you some more money. He has potential to go 110 plus. Sardis, I think, has. If he gets a full game and he gets to play the position that he's supposed to play. Bruin as well. I think Bruin has potential to go 110 plus as well. Remember saying to you yesterday, mate, wow, your midfield looks good with Sardis in there. Brad Scott must have heard you. I know, I thought the same. It's like after the 2 weeks before where he looked, not just looks good in our Supercoach team, he looked good on the field, right? He had a buttload of clearances. Let's look up his stats. I want to know I want to know how stupid Brad Scott is. All right. We all know, but let's have a look. So these two good games. Clearances. Where are your clearances? Contested possessions, 8 and 10, 15. It doesn't tell you. What about this new stats wire? Stat Chief crew. Handball says total clearances 3.7. Can we light the games up? Clearances 7. Oh, you got 1 in this game. But he had 7 clearances in the game where he got 100. 7 clearances. Centre bounce clearance 6. Like, I mean, come on. You don't want to get the ball clear? You don't have a ruckman. How else? I mean, the fact that Essendon doesn't have a ruckman or one that's any good, is a testament to how good he is at getting the ball out. Centre bounce tendencies, 19 at 24, and he only got 14 last week. Clangers, only 1 clanger each game. That's really good disposal efficiency. And he's gone at, this one was a bit down. He was 58. But the last 2 weeks, he's gone at 80 and at 94 disposal efficiency. So, 63%, 60, yeah, it's just, it did adjust it. So out of the 2 good games where he got proper time on ground, averaging 91 Supercoach points. Centre bounce tendencies was 62 with a 76% time on ground. Disposals 27 he's averaging for those 2 games. Handball receives 11. Contested possessions 9. I mean, total clearances 4, averaging 4 a game. And like we said, he got like 8 of them in 1 or something. I mean, for God's sake, doesn't he have the same stats as we do? You would think football teams have stats. Why didn't he put Sharp on Pendles? I mean, Pendles was killing it, wasn't he? But I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, and I'm thinking in my head, maybe you want to bring the kid in and give him a game on Anzac Day to show him what it's like, but surely it's, I don't know, For me, it just doesn't make sense. You haven't played him the last few weeks. When you have played him, he hasn't looked great. He's young, he's raw, but he looks good. In his draft class and everything, everyone says he looks good. So, I mean, if I was Brad Scott, surely I would have brought in someone with a little bit more experience for last week, might be experienced to the big occasion, who's not going to be overawed, and then give Sharp a run this week. I mean, who do they play this week? They play Essendon versus Brisbane. It's going to be a tough match, but it's not Collingwood at the MCG on Anzac Day. It just didn't seem like a smart thing. And the Tom Edwards thing, I love my mate Joe from the Centre Bounce. I didn't even realise this till I watched his rant, that how hard done by Thomas Edwards has been the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago, he gets taken off the ground by the bloody Ark, who says he's injured after the doctors have cleared him and says he's not injured, which means he misses the last 5 minutes of the game. And then this week, Brad Scott decides to play him every single where, but where what he actually is. Yeah, let's play our key forward everywhere, but where you play key forwards. Look at this. Does that look like a key forward heat map to you guys? What potential chance did this kid have of kicking a goal? Kid's probably never played, whatever that is, wing back wing. It looks like the position I call left, right, out. That's the position I call that. That poor kid didn't have a chance, Anyway, enough about Brad Scott. Put him in a forward pocket, seriously, yeah. And he's a midfielder too, right? If you go back to his position where he's supposed to play, he's a midfielder as well. He played him as in the forward pocket as a mid. Not a lot of mids can play that position. I know they usually start them off there. I much prefer a young mid. It always seems to be better if you start them off at halfback. It just always seems to be better, right? How many mids do you guys know who have started off on the half forward line that've gone on to be really successful? Maybe the Richmond boy is doing all right down there. But how many have, they started there? They do a lot better. You get in the back line, they get a bit of ball, they get more confident, and then they move into the midfield, after a while. It just seems like the smarter play. You might as well fill that spot with someone get a rookie that's a bona fide goal sneak and let them go in there. Yeah, Tom Edwards down back. Will, I know. You're obviously an Essendon fan, exactly. It's not rocket science. Yep. It's not rocket science. It certainly isn't, my friend. How many people we got watching, crew? We have 21 people. Don't forget to like. Have I got 21 likes? 5? What are you guys doing? Please like the video. What is that? Is that always on? Yeah, please like the video. That would help me out a lot. I just want to make sure I am getting some food delivered soon. And I want to make sure that isn't what just happened. Nope, shouldn't be. Resting him apparently. Well, I think he got a rest, Zibby. If you're talking about Sardis, he got a nice rest last week where he sat on the bench for half the game. So, rookies, young kids don't need a rest after 2 weeks. Give me a break. He's not a first year rookie either. This is his second season. It's his second season in, he should have been in the gym and running around or whatever. He should be ready to go. Let's be honest. He had all last year. He got exposed a little bit, but he kind of got screwed over last year with time on ground. But that was his first year. You can kind of understand Sharp getting less time on ground. Sardis should be ready to go. If he's not ready to go, then their conditioning and programs aren't that good. It's his second preseason. He should be ready to go. I mean, just look at the Eagles, right? we didn't give a shit. We chucked Harley Reid in there the first season. Bam, off he goes, you know. He's not the best of the world, but he's certainly not the worst. This year we've got Willem Dersma. Threw him in. It's his first season. He's a year younger than Sardis. Chuck him in there. Let him go. You know, we've got a shit team. You got to play your rookies. Maybe give him a rest after 5 or 6 weeks. And you got the buys coming up anyway. Let him rest at the buys. Unless he's actually injured. Third, isn't it? Third game for him? Third year. It's his third year. Let's bring up we still got him in the stats. How old is the young man? Age 21. Yeah, so it should be his third year. He should be his third year. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, 23, 24, 25. Oh, he's fourth year. No. Was that might be... No, this is the main leagues. I thought the yellow dot standard for the main team. So it could even be, this is his fourth year. How is he not ready to go then after, 3 or 4 preseasons? If he needs a rest after 3 games, there's something going on. Could be wrong. I think when you're looking at DFS, I'm pretty sure these orange dots means the lower league. You know, and the yellow dots means when you actually play in the AFL. Yellow dots are AFL. So like 1, 2, 3, and before that, the first few games he played in the VFL. So does it actually tell me that here somewhere? No, but I'm pretty sure that's what that means. So he's actually played games in the AFL in 2023. And he was getting more time on ground then than he is now. Sad as that is. As sad as that is. Wow. So, yeah, if you need a break after 3 games, there's something wrong with your conditioning program there. He's not a kid. He's not a kid anymore. I mean, he's a kid compared to me. Almost everyone's a kid compared to me. Probably all you guys in chat are kids compared to me. But, yeah, 21, you're not far away. I mean, your prime as a midfielder is 23 to 26, probably. You know, 22 to 27 in the AFL, to 22 to 28, unless you're Pendlebury, is probably your prime as a midfielder. So if you're not in your prime now and you need a rest, you know, after a couple of weeks, it's a bit sad. Hey, Cheese, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. 2022, yeah, so he played games in 2023, so... I don't know. You're going to give the kid a chance or not? It's not like, you know, you expect Parrish they're going to be there. This is why, at least with the Eagles, you know, at least they're doing this for my team. Do you really think that Parrish is going to be there when the next time you make finals? Do you really think that, you know, some of these other guys, I mean, you kind of got rid of Satterfield last year, but surely there's a few other old codgers in your team that can, you know, move into the back line or whatever. Like they played Merritt a bit back. Why not play Merritt a big back? And keep doing that. Let Sardis, you know, play in the midfield. Seems strange. But if I'm going to be, there'll be another rant this week if he does get dropped. They don't want to burn him out after 4 years. Yeah, that'd be right. That'd be right, Wayne. They don't want to burn him out after 4 years. Anyway, I think we've got one team. Actually, before we do that, I'm just going to grab a drink. So don't forget to like me video before I go anywhere. Did anyone like when I gave you a hard time about not liking before? 13, much better. Golf clap for all you people in chat. Golf clap? No, thank you very much. I really appreciate the support, everybody. And yes, the liking helps and the commenting helps and the subscribing helps. And, you know, especially considering I'm doing so shit overall in my ranking, that people still want to hang out with me and chat about Supercoach and actually listen to what I have to say is very humbling. And I really like that. And with saying that, I'm going to run away and I'm going to be back in 2 seconds. So don't go away. I'm coming right back. We'll give you some lovely music and the Be Right Back screen. Sorry about that, crew. I'm back. Sorry. You know, things happen. Cool. All right, where were we? What we got? Mass, how you going, Mass? Bit early for a tug break. It is. It is a bit early. I feel another coming joke. On the God. It's been the go around with all the content creators this week. I can't help myself by doing the keep telling people not to be coming early, or when we should be saying coming early. Thoughts on Warner, Lloyd Anderson. Nice to see you, buddy. My thoughts on Warner, I had him last year, was very up and down. He has only scored 100, I think, all year. Even with Heaney out of the team. So I think he'll be a real roller coaster ride. I think he'll be an 80 to 100 guy that on a particular week could smack out a 120. If he gets a few goals and a decent amount of possessions. But I think there are better forwards out there. We have the forward discussion a lot. I think he is in the third tier. First tier is Sheasel, Pachaka, Pickett, and Horn-Francis. They're tier 1. Tier 2 is Tuke Miller, who is just below, just because he lost his CBAs. And people like Zach Bailey and Justin McInerney, however you say his name. I can never seem to say it. And then the next one down, I would say, is probably Warner, Rochelle. Maybe Warner is in there with the Zach Baileys and stuff of the world, even though I'd probably prefer to pick Zach Bailey over him. But then you've got the Rochelles and the Connor McDonalds and the Brent Daniels of the world. I don't know if any of you guys are going Brent Daniels. I probably wouldn't advise it. It's not time for stepping stones. If you're getting him as a keeper. So if you are strapped for cash like me and you're just like, I'm smacking Brent Daniels in there and he's going to get me an average of 80 for the rest of the season, and, so be it, fine. But if you're getting Brent Daniels thinking I'm going to upgrade him later on the season, I don't like it. And if you're thinking you're going to get him and he's going to score you 90 to 110 every week, I don't think he's going to do that either. Who we got here? James. G'day, Dino. I guess you mean Seano. You can call me Dino if you want. That's fine. I'll accept it. People would be calling me Seano for years. Scene. Hey, Scene. No, it's Sean. Appreciate the content. It's worth is it worth using last boot to bring in Nas, Jason or Francis? You have 21 trades left. Also torn on who to VC between Butters and Holmes. I would VC Butters if it was me. That would be me. I would VC Butters. And so probably do the opposite or whatever I do. But in my personal opinion, I'd be putting the VC on Butters. Again, the showdown, he has a reasonable record against, in those games. 124, 117, 124. Holmes was a bit down last week. We're not sure whether it's his role or what's going on, even though I'm sure he'll be fine. And I don't even mind him in that back role, as he's shown he can score big there before. But I think the safer pick is probably Butters. Now I've said that, I worry about you. Same as anyone who, that's one reason I'm very scared of putting the captain on Jackson this week, because I just got him in this week. Usually when I get a player in, they shit the bed. So getting Jackson in and putting the captain on is a scary thing for me. Using your last boost, Nas and Jason Horn-Francis. So a little bit same as me. I got Jason Horn-Francis and Jackson, though. I think it's fine. Boosts are there to be used. You're getting in 2 primos. I mean, it's always nice to save the boost, but you're getting in 2 really good players. Jason Horn-Francis has a break-even where he's probably going to go. I think because his break-even is that low, you definitely want him this week. So as for Nas, I think his break-even is quite high. So if you wanted to save that, 121. So if you wanted to save the boost and use it next or use it in the future, you could. it is nice to have a boost, especially I'm going to try and hold my boost to the buys. I know a lot of people say, well, why would you do that, Seano? You already get 3 trades in the buys. Well, last year I would have killed. I used my last boost the week before the buys last year. And then when the buys came, it just, there's all this great talk about going one up, one down, one up. But I think you'll find that gets harder and harder to do as the buys come around and the rookies are just not there. So having the opportunity to go like 3 down and 2 up, or or 4 down, you know what I mean, or 2 down and 2 up, whatever it takes in the buys is helpful, especially when it's once that round 12 buy goes. Wouldn't be surprised if I did like no trays in round 12, and then at round 13 you could just like, even after round 13 you can boost and get like all those round 12 guys you really want. If you didn't have a Petrarca or a Horn Francis, you can get those guys. If you don't have a Sherry, you can get him. Adelaide players, if you want to get in a Dawson, you can get him. There's going to be a lot of shopping going on after those buys. So if I've got a boost available, I'll be happy. But if I have to use it in the next few weeks, I will. So I'm saying that it's fine, but I wouldn't be worried about missing out on NAS. That's a move for you want to get the maximum points on field, and which is kind of what I'm doing this week. I want to get maximum points on field, which really in my brain I know is not the smartest thing to do for my league strategy, but in my heart for you guys, I want to get the highest score possible, and I'm so sick of these big rucks smacking big scores on me, and me every week saying, I don't quite trust Jackson, and he gets a 120, and I'm like, I don't know if I trust Jackson. He gets a 120. I don't know if I trust Jackson. He gets a 120. And last week was, I'm still not sure with Mason Cox and Jackson, and he gets a 147. So this week, Seano's got him, and if he gets 100, it'll be a miracle. Seano won the Red Bull. I used to drink quite a bit of Red Bull back in the day, Wayne, but now it's one of those drinks, like when you drink too much alcohol, now it makes you feel sick. Now I can't even taste it. It's just too sickly sweet for me. Hey, James D. He'll burn everything in his way to keep his job. Does it keep him his job? I guess, Voss is the same, right? By not. So I did have Smith outside, like out this week, and I'm just praying that maybe Voss wakes up, like Brad Scott wakes up and plays him in the middle too. And do we have any Carlton people here? Is anyone super curious like I am? I've been thinking about this for the last couple of weeks. Why isn't Hewitt playing at Carlton? Isn't he the best and fairest from last year? He led Supercoach midfielders for the first half of the season. He was scoring more than anyone, more than Bont or anything, I believe. Is there something else behind this? It doesn't say he's injured, right? I don't know. Is it like the old days of the Eagles? They used to accuse, did he sleep with the coach's daughter or something? Why isn't he getting a game? What's happening here? Did he come back? Did he eat too many burgers over the off season? He's coming back looking like Homer. Yeah. Correct. George Hewitt, 40 disposals, 11 clearances, was again among the best at VFL level. Well, he was among the best at AFL level last year for the first half of the season anyway. What's he done? Why isn't he playing? I don't understand. You're not playing Smith in the midfield, so you didn't free it up to play the kids. I don't really want him to come back because it might hurt my Walsh pick. It could. Walsh is just starting to get it on, but surely he has to come back. I just don't know what he's done and how he could be left out. How do you go from your club's best and fairest to being left out? Yeah, we'll take Sardis, the Eagles. We need a clearance. We need a young clearance guy. We've got the outside dudes like Harley Reid and Willem Dersma. We need a guy who goes under to get the ball and get it out to those guys. So, I mean, we'll take Elijah Sardis in a second over here at the Eagles if Brad Scott doesn't want him. He's at that perfect age. Go 3, 4, 5 years' time when the teams start to click and look good. We'll take him. You brought in Connor. The McKenna? You mean Connor McKenna? You gone early? MCK, I think it is, isn't it? Again, I'd wait a week. He plays for Brisbane. You never know. He might get dropped. But I'm definitely thinking about him next week. Whether it's a double downgrade for me with this guy and Cumming. If Cumming can score another 80, even at his inflated price, I think I'll just get him. Who, like Smith, will go out of my team for somebody, and potentially Grill will go out of the team even for an upgrade or a downgrade, or maybe one of these. Maybe I do sell one of these back guys and kind of work it out that way. They're both. He's a forward, so I already got myself. I got rid of what's his Lombard. So I went Lombard up to Francis, Horn Francis this week. Francis. I used to know a guy named Francis. It's kind of not the most manly name ever, but he was a really nice guy. To the punt on the Hawk. Took a punt on the Hawk. Yeah, I mean, do you need to this week? What about if I would prefer if Arthur Jones, if he is named, I'd prefer you to go there. At least he's on the bubble when he has an 80 in the system as well. For me, I might have a look at Arthur Jones next week. So I'll take the hit of because he's got a 30 in his system. I really want to do this double upgrade this week. I wanted to do the double upgrade last week. I didn't. I did the double downgrade and the one upgrade. And obviously, it looks like I'm going to get screwed through the Sardis. And then this week, I don't really want to go because you need Rashenko. So I don't really want to go Rashenko and Arthur Jones and only do one upgrade again. I think I need to get some primos in the team. And if that means I'm missing out on the rookies, which is probably, again, not the smartest way to play this game because the cash generation is something you really need. But maybe even next week, I just go, bugger it, Sharp's not going to make any money. I just swap him straight over. I don't make any money. Or even Dev Robertson. He'll be at about, say he's at 150 Jones next week if he plays this week. I kind of hope he doesn't play this week and he plays next week. But even then, there could be options. There could be too many options next week. But it's 21 and 82. So even if he came out and got like a 65, he'll go up 40K. He'll be at 160. So he's buyable. He's still buyable, but he's not. It's not ideal. It's not ideal, but it's still buyable. Zibby, I'm not too sure what you were saying about ha. It's true, but I believe you believe me, which is good. Yeah, so I probably would still wait for Connor for next week, buddy. I don't think it's something that especially with Brisbane. Who are Brisbane? They got anyone coming in? Any Brisbane people in chat? Brisbane. Oscar Allen out for 12 to 14 weeks, so that probably helps him. Noah Ainsworth. Jared Barry 2 to 3 weeks. Darcy Gardner 3 to 4 weeks. Mid-season 2. Dane Zorko is going to play, they reckon. So, I mean, I don't see any forwards coming in. Where's Noah Ainsworth play when he comes back? You don't want to get him in this week and for him to be dropped next week is the only issue. He's a lockdown defender, Ainsworth. All right, so I don't see any forwards coming in, but I still last thing you want at this time of year is a rookie not making you any money. So if Sardis gets 1 week breaking comes back, I'll be okay with that. If all of a sudden he gets dropped and doesn't come back, I will be absolutely furious. And poor Sharp, I mean, it's harsh to say, but I kind of hope that they drop him instead of Sardis. And then I can get rid of Robertson maybe next week and make some money and use Sharp as my loophole. But having a 250k loophole is hurting. Is a bit of money to be, it's a bit too much money that I like sitting there on my bench. But at the moment, it is the most convenient loophole that I have. Or suspended tier. Yeah, Mass, you are correct. The Jason Horne-Francis is certainly held together with sticky tape. And I do worry about him getting injured, but the reason I got him in is because I also believe that he has the ability for a big spike scores. He has the role, and I like it. But I also like rank. If I had more spots in my forward line, like I'm saving this one just in case if there's a merit or there's someone else. But at 450, he didn't mention him before, but out of that, the next tier down, he's probably the one I like at that cheaper 450 amount. I like rank better than most of the others. Like when someone asked me about Warner, I probably like rank better than Warner. He seems to be getting a few more CBAs. He's taking Rochelli's CBAs, which is what worried me when I had the option to get Rochelle and I chose not to, which was one of the things that worried me that might happen, and it kind of looks like it is happening. But if you are thinking about rank, as overall, he has been up there and been a 90-plus player before average, so I think he could be a very valuable pick. Does he have DPP rank this year? He doesn't, right? Oh, he does have, oh my God, he does have mid forward. Ooh, with a break even in. I mean, I might be tempted to slap him in the midfield a little bit and just keep him until I can get a better midfield. 103, 69, 96 in the last couple of weeks. But I believe his CBAs are up. Last week it went from 10% in round 6 to 41% in round 7. If that was to continue next week, I'd seriously be looking at rank as a potential finish off the forward line player. Absolutely crazy. Drafted in 22. Are we still talking about Sardis? Pick 5, Sardis is? Yeah, pick 5. I mean, do you take 3 years to unleash your pick 5? Give the kid a chance. If you were the kid, you'd want to leave, right? If you were the kid, don't know when he's contracted to, but if you were him, there's no way you're like, hey, I'm going to get a game. Oh, I get 50% time on game on a team that loses every week. All it's going to take is like Sam Mitchell to give one of his, hey, would you like to have a cup of coffee with me? He'll be playing for Hawthorn next year. Someone should teach Minnie McWalter how to do that. Hey, I'll have a cup of coffee with you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, touch your leg a few times, and next thing you know, they're playing for the team. Yeah, Mass, that is the name of the game. Get your team as close to full primo as early as for the overall score anyway. To get, like I said, I'm concentrating on leagues, which is it's not as important to do that. It's more important to make sure you've got a few trades left when you come back into those last few rounds. But as for overall rank, yes, getting your team to full primo or as close to what you can call full primo as early as possible for as few as trades, as many as possible, and getting the right rookies, which allows you to do that and getting the best primos. That's exactly what it is. Nightfall, how are you, Nightfall? Oh, Lockie Neal, Will Ashcroft, and Newcomb. Which one averages more? Well, Lockie Neal's doing it so far, but Will Ashcroft has has a shitload of CBAs, the second most behind Neil and Dunkley. So Newcomb, I'd say stay away from Newcomb. Just is he even? We get no CBAs. Newcomb. Oh, Newcomb, Hawthorn. John Newcomb. Let's have a look at him. He gets lots of CBAs. Sean, how's he doing? One of the reasons Hawthorn just spread their points around so much. So considering Newcomb's got 100 once, I'm not picking him. He's very consistent around 100. Is anywhere between like 80 and 100 looks normal. For 105 looks normal. No spike scores though. So when I'm picking my team, I want the guy I pick to at least have the chance of getting a spike score. So Neil, and let's have a look at the old Ashcroft and Lockie Neil. Ashcroft, take out this score of 51. So he had a 64 there, but 92, 139. Don't worry about that 51, 95 and 106. So at least I like him probably the second most because he can do the peak score. And then I think Lockie Neal, it's got to be Lockie Neal, right? Yes, he's susceptible to the tag, but if they don't tag him, he's just a gun. He is just a gun. And, 119, 99, 97 and 159. I want a player that can score a 159. Will Ashcroft can probably score a 159. It doesn't look like a Newcomb can. So, these last 4 games, Lockie Neal's going at 122 average in Supercoach, which puts him right up there with the big dogs. So, yeah, we expect McCluggage to come back and whatever, but whose CBAs does he take? Does he take some of Will Ashcroft's CBAs, or does he take some of Lockie Whitfield's, or does he take some of everybody? Does he take some of everybody? When he first came back, McCluggage, Will Ashcroft, Josh Dunkley, he didn't take any of them. He took away... He took Zach Bailey's CBAs pretty much. So the other boys are probably fine. So I'm going Lockie Neal. He's a proven performer too. I'm just going Lockie Neal. Yeah, Jay Wilson, we were talking about this before. Captain options are very difficult this week, especially due to the dumb fixturing of the AFL. Now, you guys tell me. You tell me, crew. We've probably got a few. Well, we might have some Adelaide people here or some South Australian people here. I'm not from South Australia, but I'll watch the showdown. I'll definitely watch the showdown on a Friday night. I don't need to have one of the other teams. They put Freo and they like try to cover all their bases. They're like, oh, nobody likes Adelaide, watching Adelaide teams. We won't make enough money. I'm sure this is what the AFL thought, the fixturing. We won't make enough money on TV rights by having 2 Adelaide teams on TV on Friday night. So we'll put a West Australian team and a Victorian team, and we'll try and make as much money through TV rights by getting people advertising, getting people to watch the screens. I'll give you the tip, AFL. I still would have watched Adelaide and Port Adelaide on Friday night. I don't need it to be a Melbourne and a West Coast and a Freo, and I don't need it to be 2 big Melbourne teams. And I'm sure all the Melbourne people in chat would have been quite happy to watch the showdown as well on a Friday night and been more than happy to watch that game. They're really closed-minded, the AFL. I know that's what they thought. They thought we're not going to make enough money having the 2 Adelaide teams on a Friday night. Just downright deplorable. Mass trading in Dogger this week for flex. Already have Gawn and Grundy. No Sherry. Means you won't be watching Kangaroo games. Yeah, well, like I said, it's either Jackson or Whitfield for me this week. And break even wise, I think I'm just going to go Jackson. And then I think I'll be watching Sherry over the next few weeks, and I'll either try and ping him if he goes down a little bit of money in a couple of weeks, or get him after his buy, one way or the other. I already paid up for Gorn, I paid up for Bont, and my team value is not that much, so I can't really afford to be spending 700k on Sherry or Grundy, who I still don't know who's going to be better out of the two of them. I still don't know who's going to be better. Sherry did drop that 60. I just want to see if that happens again. Is that just a anomaly, that 60? Or is there something to do with, there wasn't very many stoppages in that Essendon game, and it just didn't hurt. It didn't help him. But he'll be fine. I'm just going to maybe take the bet that he drops another stinker somewhere between here and the buys. Jackson seems... Every week I waited for Jackson to drop a stinker, and he just hasn't done it. So I guess I get on him, and this is the week he's going to drop a stinker. So I apologise, Mash. You say you've already got... you've already got Dogger? Oh, no, you're getting Dogger in too, so you're going to ruin him for everyone as well. No, I mean, you don't watch two games anyway, right? You're only going to get one. There's only going to be one in your state, B. So we won't get free to air the Adelaide game here. We'll get the West Coast, and I assume Melbourne will get free to air. They'll get the same. They'll get the Freo and whoever it is, Freo and they'll get the Freo Bulldogs game, and we'll get the Freo Bulldogs game, and people in Adelaide will get the Adelaide and Port game. And unless you've got KO or something like I have, where you're paying up, or Foxtel, you won't be able to watch the other game. And I probably, whichever game, well, I'll obviously probably be watching the Freo game because I have Freo friends. And then, so I probably won't watch, or I'll watch the minis of the other game, because, if it was on a Saturday, guaranteed you'd watch it. And don't get me started about the bullshit regarding there no games on Saturday, no free games on Saturday. I was surprised there's not a riot. This is our national sport. I know you poor crew in Victoria have been living it for a while, but this is the first time ever this year and last year that in WA you can't watch your own team play when it's in your state. It used to always be, if it's here, it was free. It was delayed, but it was free. You didn't have to pay for it. And now they're just like, nah, it's a Saturday. Saturday, you don't get to watch football on a Saturday. Oh, that's right. There's 3 matches on. Can we watch football on TV? No, but I can't afford it. I'm poor. It doesn't matter. Stuff you. AFL's not for poor people anymore. You got to be rich. That's basically what the AFL have said, right? If you're poor, we don't want you. If you're poor and you like AFL, tough shit. We don't care. Absolutely disgraceful. Is that too harsh, or am I being rough? But it seems really that's the way. They sold every Saturday to Fox and KO and those guys. And now if you love football but you don't have a lot of money, well then that's tough shit. You don't get to watch football on a Saturday. Was Jackson or Whitfield the same as me, Tiger Matty? You think I'll keep flex open at this stage, so probably Whitfield? Yeah, I've still got my flexes open. I got Rashenko down there at the moment. I'm keeping my flex open to the buys. Like we said, the idea is to get full primo out of the buys, but the buys are tricky to deal with, and I'm going to want to move some of these players, like in the round 12 buy. I'm going to be wanting to move Petrarca and Horn Francis and Sheasel and Marshall around, and having the flex open is going to allow me to do that, which is going to allow me to get more players on the field, which potentially allows me going to win my league match and get potentially a high score for that round. But I think by the end of the season, we're all going to want to have 3 big ruck boys in the team. So yeah, Matthew, you've heard that as well. So this is not, I put it into I put it into AI and AI hasn't heard anything. News about being dropped. I can't find any information on it. If someone's got a link to somewhere, something where it says it, I would. Oh, 20 hours ago. Here we go. Here's something. Go away. Piss off ad. Oh God, I can't even see it. I can't even read it because it's got a stupid bloody ad in the way of it. That's ridiculous. Go away. There we go. No, I can't. Yeah, bloody hell. Why is things so hard? April 29th. Defenders. Ballydale. Okay. I don't know. I thought I saw something there, but maybe not. 20 hours ago. Essendon confirm Elijah Sardos has broken his hand and will miss the Thursday clash with Port Adelaide. Is that this week? Port Adelaide, that must be last year or something. Oh, yeah, that can't be. That must have been ages ago. Whitfield, yeah, I'm seriously considering Whitfield this week. I'll have to try and get him. I might have to miss him. Might be just Ash over Whitfield, which is not what I prefer, but it might be what I want to do. But I would get Whitfield too if I could. Sherry has 6 DMPs in his last 18 games due to suspension. Did not play. He better not do it again. Anything dumb again. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's got the scoring capability, but God. Well, we got 33 people watching now, crew. So now's a really good time to like. Now's a really, really good time to like. 33 people watching. How many likes we got? 17. Not good enough. I appreciate your support anyway, crew. It'd be nice if you like. Seano would like you back, but not necessary. But it is nice. It is necessary. Go ahead and click that button. Jackson goes Normus of English. Yeah, so Tiger Matty, I've already said I'm going if English plays, Bonta's captain. If English doesn't play, Jackson's captain. And I know Dacos, I know Dacos doesn't play well against Hawthorn. It's going to be a tough matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if Hawthorn gave Collingwood a bit of a hiding, just to be honest. Hopefully not. But, I mean, Dacos can still get 40 possessions. There's no guarantee that he's going to be tagged by a Finn McInnes or a Nash. So I think he can still has a chance of going good. I don't like it. If I had better options, I would go there, but I don't have better options. So I will be going Dacos into Bont if there's English and Dacos into Jackson if there is no English. That's what I'm stuck with, Tiger, and I'm hoping the fact that I got Jackson this week, he doesn't shit the bed, or Dacos can just get 150 for me and save me from doing that. Yeah, Mass, we can just watch our game at 9:30. No one gives a shit about out there. That's surprising though. They only do that for. They do that. That's not for West Australia. You know, we'll watch the game at 9:30. It's I don't care about watching the game at 9:30 in the morning. To be honest, it's more about the players and fucking over the players and their schedules and shit from where they normally play, which is probably going to be a big advantage to travel. Have to travel and then have to get up what's normally, early in the morning. You don't get to do your usual routine of training or whatever, or your run throughs before your match. You basically eat your breakfast and go and play a Supercoach match. I mean, a football match straight away, which is not your regular routine where your other team gets to do its normal routine that it pretty much does always. And then, goes out there and plays and they're like, oh, Why did we get flogged by 100 points? Well, it certainly doesn't help. It's probably not the main reason, but it certainly doesn't help. And yeah, the West Coast, though, with our supporter base is so big, it doesn't matter when you play the game, you're going to get a lot of people watching it. And which is exactly why, and Freo, as well, which is exactly why they put the Freo Melbourne game on Sydney on Friday night, because they think they're going to get huge audience. They'll get all the West Australian audience watching it, and they'll get all the Victorian audience watching it, as well as then they're like, oh, well, we'll put the South Australian, make them happy as well. Surely it would have been smart one way or the other. Either have the showdown on a Friday by itself or make the showdown on a Saturday night or Saturday night would have been good for a, showdown, or Saturday afternoon. Surely that would be popular. Have to watch the live points, yeah. 2 games you want to watch, you'll watch the one with the most Supercoach players in and then watch the replay of the other game, although it makes it hard if you like to watch live points. I'll flick between live points on, on fan footy or whatever you're watching, or footy scores these days. But I do, if there's footy on, I just like to have it on, whether I'm sitting here at the computer, whatever, I'll have it in the background, So it's nice if the games are at least staggered. Can't tell you how ropeable I was the other week when the Eagles actually won a game and KO, and I assume that means that Foxtel cut the whole. They didn't even play the last minute of the game. I don't even. That's like criminal. It got to the last 30 seconds or minute of the game, and it just cut straight to the other game. I was like, no, it wasn't even a factor. They didn't just cut out the old team song and stuff. They literally cut the last minute of the game off and went to the other game. I couldn't believe it. I had a hissy fit, stomping around. Thank you for liking, Tiger Matty. I like you too. We got 20 likes now, so Seano's pretty happy. There are 28 people watching, but 20 likes is very nice. Yeah, I would have done, Bont and Butters as well, Tiger Matty. It is so stupid. It's another money. Does it really surprise us that the AFL are doing another money grab? That's what they do. That's what they do. And why I'm here, why Sean is having a rant. You guys like the rant. Admit it. You love the rant in my round 1 videos. That's why I'm keeping it in most weeks. I'm going to give you another rant. The umpiring and this bloody arc, and, we have the technology to do it now. It's $1 billion game. When are we getting the microchip in the football? When is it going to happen? I don't give a shit how much it costs AFL. We pay millions to watch this game. There's all types of stuff, goes on. North Melbourne were robbed the other day of a goal in front of, with that holding the ball that wasn't paid. Not that the chip helps, but the chip automatically means that, surely you can put another chip or laser thing in the goalpost so they know whether it's going to hit the post or not. Instantly, no need to go to, any footage of from some cameras where the angles is. You can never tell whether it goes over the post or not anyway. Surely instantaneously, even if it had something like the post lit up, wouldn't that be awesome? Chipping the ball, if it hits the post lights up. Easy, like cricket. They brought it in cricket, 10 years ago, where if it hits the stumps in one day nighters, the stumps light up. It's not hard. They have the technology. Just do it. Stop stuffing around, And this arc, 60 seconds later, they drew the ball back, with that Wilkie and the Eagles one. That's ridiculous. And they pick out some and they don't pick out others. I just don't understand. And then I don't know if it's you, I think I get hoodwinked by Facebook. Every single week it says, I had a big whinge about this other week, and I don't even know if it's true. I think it's fake news that some player, captain of one of the teams or whatever, comes out and complains about the umpiring after the match and says it was totally unfair. Is anyone else seeing this fake news in Facebook like I am, or is it just me? I'm like, that's really bad, and then I can't find anywhere else. I don't know whether it's actually happened and it's just not out there, or not out there very much, or like it's censored from the AFL website. They just don't play it. Yeah, I think it's Facebook fake news. Yeah, but anyway, AFL are very very much money grabbers. They want to money grab, and yet they do dumb stuff like bring Gold Coast into the competition, which cost them a fortune. Yep. Doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, does anyone want to do their team? Oh, hey, we got some teams. All right, we got Michael. Let's do some other teams. Seano's been crapping on for too long. What is the time? 11. Yeah, okay. We'll do some teams and then we'll get out of here and have some lunch. All right, Michael put his team in. Roberts, Sinclair, McKercher, Houston, Farrow, Lindsay. Very nice. This is after the round, I believe. Butters, Dacos, Bont, Walsh, Sardis, Murdoch, Anderson, Renshaw, Grill, Blamiers, and Carroll. Grundy gone, and he's got the Jackson there as well now with Smith, Sheasel, Petrarca, Pickett, Bailey, Flanders, Cook, Philippou, and Lombard. Looks like a high potential, high scoring team. Looks like a very nice high scoring team. So still got McKercher there, which he'll probably have to do something about in the future, but looks like he's getting it done. I wouldn't mind having this team. Got, where is he? He's ranked at 23,238. So, yeah, not bad. Very, very nice, Michael. Hey, Max White. You ranked 9K, top 5%. Nice. That's a potty getting him. Yeah, I looked as well. It's just too expensive for me, Max. It just affects me down the track too much. I would like to get Cherry in, and he'll probably score 1 million points for you this week, but he's just too expensive. It means that I can't upgrade next week. Maybe even, and maybe it means instead of being a full primo, I'm 1 or 2 short. I need to get him at less than 650, I'd think, to make it viable for me. But I totally understand if you've got the money to spend, and you are pushing for the ranks, like you want to get up as high as rank as possible, I think it's a very valid move, and good luck to you, Max. I hope it works out for you. Zibby says he has brought in Rashenko for Jarks and has 300K in the bank. That's very nice for next week's money. Whitfield, Sinclair, Dacos, Worrell. A little bit worried about Worrell, but hopefully he comes back for you. Sarong, Lindsay, Grill, and Blamiers. I think, guys, if Blamiers, obviously it could be your loophole this week, but he's definitely on the chopping block if he doesn't play. I got rid of him last week when he wasn't named. Butters, Dacos, Holmes, Sarong, Brune, Murdoch, Rashenko, Farrow, Smith, Anderson, and Roberts as his loophole, a bit like me. He's got Grundy and Jackson, very nice with the ZZ. Sheasel, Petrarca, Flanders, Cook, Buderick, who still has Buderick, Marshall, McAndrew, Philippou, and Steen. So another very decent team at rank 7,000. So nice one, Zibby. That's doing very well. It makes me very jealous of seeing all these good ranks. Wish I was up there with you guys as well, but unfortunately we are not. You're trying to win it, so you feel like it's moved. Fair enough, Max. Yep, I wouldn't know what it's like trying to win it. So good luck to you, my friend. I hope you do win it. I really hope that someone I know here in chat or comes and hangs out with us or as part of our Discord or in my leagues goes ahead and wins it. That would be really good. Oh, you also, this is interesting. So you're trading Sam Flanders. That's not good. That's not good big play for Sherry. So you're actually getting Flanders out to get him in. I mean, Flanders hasn't really been performing, I guess. All right. What am I to know? What am I to disagree? You're a lot higher placed than I am. So good luck with it. I hope it works. I can't say that I had Sherry in my team for a bit. And and I was looking at him and I was just like, no, he's too expensive. I'm going to go Jackson instead. This is Dead Kennedys. Good fun band. Roberts, Wangani Malira, Josh Dacos, Lindsay Marshall. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. We'll just let Ralph Wiggum pronounce his name.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
We'll just do that and move on. Sarong and Farrow, very nice. Butters, Dacos, Bont, Brun, Blamiers, Sardis, Anderson, Rashenko, Grill, Smith, and Murdoch with a Grundy, Jackson, and a Sherry Ruck. Another gentleman with a Sherry Ruck. Is this your team, Max? Is this your team? Grundy, Jackson, Steen, Sheasel, Pickett, Tracy, Bolton, Laylor, White. With the Sherry, with Zerha. Ooh, the old Zerha pick. I tried to warn you, crew. I'm sorry. I probably didn't try and warn people hard enough. That's why this week I'm giving you the warning. Brent Daniels, warning. Where's Amrul Akbar?
It's a trap.
Should have done that last week. Yeah, it's a trap. He'll be okay, but he's not going to be, great. He's not going to be top liner. He's a good plug and hold. Karen, nice to see you, Karen. You have a great weekend too. Yep, see you after the video. Yep, I'll see you talk to you next week. Always good to hear from you. I like it when you leave the comments in the comment sections with how you did. So please keep on doing that. And yep, anyone who leaves a comment on any of my videos, whether you're watching now or if you're watching in the future, I'll leave a link to my other 2 videos down there this week, my round review, which is the kind of the one we like to have the fun with. We do the raid, we do the rant, and we have the clips for the captains and the clips for the trades, and then we get a bit more serious with the trades and captains, where we really do more of a deep dive into who you should be looking at in the way of trading in, and the captains, which we usually do on Wednesday. So, and then on Thursday today, we always do the live videos, and we'll always throw your teams up on the screen. But if you comment on any of my videos, I will always get back to you and have a chat, or at least check out what you've said. Do we have anybody else? Like I said, it's almost like getting to my lunchtime over here. So if we don't have many more, Maddie, Bojangles. How are you, Maddie? Whitfield, Sinclair, Clark, Dacos, Houston, and Lindsay. Let's hope for a bit better performance out of Clark and Dacos this week, mate. Jarks and Marshall back there. Butters, Dacos, Bont, Bruin, Grill, Blamiers, Sardis, Murdoch, Sharp, Rashenko, Jones. You're getting Jones in this week, even if he's not playing. Grundy, Gorn with ZZ. And then Sheasel, Petrarca, Pickett, Flanders, Cook, Philippou, Robertson there as well, Lombard and Anderson. Looks nice, buddy. And you are at rank 19,000. This is one of the things that worries me about my team. Like, all your teams look similar to my team, just as good as my team. How am I going to go up in ranks if all you guys have teams that are just as good as mine? I'm going to have to start maybe doing things like, that's what I considered Sherry this week as well. Like, just like you, Max, I thought he was owned by less than 10%. If I got him, it could be a big jump, on the people who don't have him. The only thing is, I thought, I'm kind of hoping that in the second half of the season that I drag back my ranking a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if I don't, with just the amount of trades that I've got and the money that I've already spent buying up the big dogs. So I can't win, I can't win either way. I think I've already spent too much money and made too many trades, and I can't get in the big dogs I want to be a difference, So yeah, I think Wayne, that's your team. Do you think Coleman could be a play for a mid-pricer? Kitty Coleman? No. Kitty Coleman you should be getting out of now, not buying into. You don't want. There's no such thing as a mid-pricer at this time of the year, Ash. You're getting primos and keepers only. So mid-pricer is someone that you buy with the intent to upgrade them later on in the season. You you're not buying them now. And that's why if I'm talking about Brent Daniels, if you're happy to get a 80 to a 90 average for the rest of the season as a keeper, you can buy Brent Daniels this week. But if you want a bona fide, big dog in your forward line, don't go Brent Daniels, So that's what you don't buy Brent Daniels this week thinking that in a couple of weeks you're going to upgrade him. You just don't have the trades and the money to do that, buddy. So if you're not already on Coleman, don't get him. You just save up, get somebody good. Wait till Zorko comes in a couple of weeks and get him at 450. Wait to look for somebody else. Wait till the other guy, McCluggage in the midfield comes in. Tiger Matty, tough gig this year. Yep. Yeah, we just went through it. Yep. There are a lot of gaps, but like I said, your defense looks almost the same as mine. Your midfield looks pretty much the same as mine. You got Grundy instead of now I have Jackson, and I've got the extra Horn Francis here, where you've got the extra in the defense at the moment. So I mean, and you're 40,000 in front of me. You're 40,000 ranks in front of me. So it's still good, mate. I think we can't be too unhappy. Like I always say, top 10% makes me happy. I don't know if I'm going to be very happy this year, but you're very close to the top 10%. 200,000 people play Supercoach. Not everyone can be top 10%. Obviously, only 10% of people can be top 10%. Hence, top 10%. So, if you do that, you're doing very well. And what about this cup competition this week? Just before we go, I can't go. Yeah, Tiger Matty. I think he is tempting, but he's only tempting if you said to me, I've burnt as many trades as you have, Seano. I've got this 30K there. I'm just going to go Philippou to Daniels. I'd be like, and I'm going to keep him for the rest of the season, and I'm going to upgrade the rest of my team. And I'll be like, okay. I'll be like, fine. As long as you're happy with the 80, he's probably going to outscore Philippou. Fine. And I could even do that next week. Maybe not, probably not with Daniels, but if you want to have the best, I think it's better just to save up and get the best. Those are the type of plays I might make at the other end of the season. If I find that I come out of buys, I don't have any money, my team's not at full primo, and there's someone pops up for 300,000 or 400,000 that's not a primo but can do an okay job, then I'm going to jump on them now. Then now is not the time to do that. I would say you only want to be getting. I'd much prefer if you could get the money up to get to someone like Rankining, I'd probably prefer that than Brent Daniels. But again, I'd even prefer it more if you can get the money up to get to someone like Pickett or Horn Francis or Petrarca or Sheasel. Ash, quite a few people are, and I am, but just not now. Sherry or Grundy will be at my flex, just not now. Because the flex position, the value of it is that it's flexible. So am I giving up points right now by not doing it? Sure. But it'll be there in the end of the season, and I'll get those points then. And in the meantime, I might be able to navigate the buys a little bit better and might move my team around and get the players in, the other players in. Like if you get Sherry at flex now, one, you spent for 680K. Two, you can't really move your team around. So say Zorko comes up next week and you've got no spots left in your defense. Well, then you can't get him. You're stuck. Or if your forward line is full and, Merritt becomes you can't do anything about it. You can't move stuff around. So I will be getting a ruck, I believe, in my flex, but just not now. After the buys, that'll be one of my last primos that I get before going full primo. But if you've got them now, on-field scoring is good. If you were pushing for the top couple of thousand, I'd say it's probably fine. If you're anywhere from 20 to 30,000 out, I think just hold off, get them cheaper, hopefully, and get them and get them later on. Exactly, you'd run out of trades super fast. Yeah, you can't be getting Daniels in and think about going up to, and that's the same with Coleman. We'll talk about Coleman. Can't be getting Coleman in thinking that you're going to upgrade him to a Whitfield or something in a few weeks. You're going to run out of trades. I'm already running out of trades. So, 22 at this time of the season is ridiculous. And I'm going to have to basically not trade 1 week. There's going to be a week in the next few weeks where other people are doing an upgrade and Seano's just going to not trade. And there's no other way to get around it. That just has to be the way that it is to get through to the end of the season. But probably after buys, yep. Langley or Jackson or Grundy, yeah. 3, the rucks look like, we didn't predict this. We all got it wrong, or most of us. Well, Seano got it wrong. Yeah, the rucks have been the most predictable and the best scoring. If anything, the thing that we didn't predict is maybe the new rules and the new game style has made the midfielders more inconsistent. Has, the less of the stoppage game has stopped us having people like Rao, score really big and consistently all the time. Like the stoppage beasts that we used to depend on in the midfield, they're still there, but they're not quite as consistent and they're not quite banging out those big scores that they used to. The midfielders that seem to get the big scores now, correct me if I'm wrong, are the midfielders that score good amount of possessions and kick a couple of goals as well. A bit like the Bont, a bit like the Heaney, the ones that can hit damage on the scoreboard as well as the possession side of thing are the ones that are getting the big peak scores. And so, I didn't see that coming. We were all worried about the rucks, and the rules, but we didn't see that side of the midfielder coming. And even then, ones we predicted, like Finn Callahan, even though it's the tagging that really hurts him, who the outside runners, but him and Noah Anderson were really highly tated, and I had my eyes on both of them preseason, and I would be pretty grumpy if I had bought them both. I had Noah Anderson, but if I had Finn Callahan, I'd still be pretty grumpy too, even though I'm seriously thinking about getting him in a couple of weeks. Noah Anderson more so than Finn Callahan. Zorko not an option. I think I still might go there, Ricky. At that price, and that someone can put out that output at 450. If he's rested for a week, I might just cop it. But at 450, I don't know. I probably will go there. Unfortunately, I don't have the option money-wise, but he just had a rest. Do we call it an injury arrest? Yes, he might get a rest, but the good thing is his position isn't a real hard taxing position, Ricky, so I'm hoping that's going to account for something. Anyway, crew, I think that's going to be it for me for the day. So don't forget to like if you haven't liked already. If you're watching this video in the future, please like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And yes, don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you're doing in the way of trades and captains and vice captains, especially captains and vice captains. I'm very interested to see, is anybody else out there just thinking that is going to take a risk on Dacos like I am, or is everyone just thinking that's just a bad thing and they're not going to try it? Even if everyone says it's a bad thing, I'm still going to try it anyway, and then I'll say you're all right next week. Everyone was right next week, and Seano as wrong as normal. Thank you so much. Don't forget about Discord. Join the Discord. The link is up the top. I also have the link will be in the comments and in the description section of my last 2 videos. So check those ones out as well and like those if you haven't already. And yeah, join that Discord. Pop your team in for next week's Thursday live stream, which will be after the game more than likely, but I'll let you guys know during the week if that changes, but it'll probably be after the Thursday night game. Good luck to everybody in the with this week's season. May you have no injuries and may you have huge Supercoach scores. And I will talk to you all again very soon.